doing great. I hope you guys are doing amazing. You guys know what we're here for. Today, we're going to be talking about Captain America Brave New World. I'm going to be giving my review, as well as kind of going over my thoughts over the film, as well as kind of going over your thoughts. What did you guys think about the film? Now, I do want to go ahead and put a disclaimer out here. If you have not seen the film, please click off of this stream. I want to be very respectful and give people that disclaimer. If you have not seen the film, please go right now, come back to this stream, and I can give you some more context into what you think and things like that down in the comments of the stream. So spoilers will be talked about here. We will be discussing spoilers. So again, I just want to put that disclaimer out there for anyone who may be checking this out, whether you're new or you're occurring a viewer. Yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Let's get into the comments. Let's welcome you guys in. So let's see. What's up, Anthony? What's up, man? You said, how are you, buddy? Doing, by the way. Saw Captain America Brave New World. It was awesome. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today. Been really busy doing stuff around the house. Well, not house. Technically, it's an apartment, but I kind of call it a house because, I mean, it's just me living here. But anyway, um, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. No complaints, no problems, nothing. Just a good time. I had a great weekend. Went to go see Captain America: Brave New World with my buddy Kendrick. Kendrick, he's like a brother to me. He does great artwork, like phenomenal artwork. So if you're into artwork and things like that, my buddy Kendrick has got you covered. So we'll definitely be checking out more movies like Superman and Fantastic Four and a ton of other movies that are going to be coming out throughout the year. And so yeah, to answer your question, Anthony, I'm doing good, and I'm glad you thought Captain America: Brave New World was awesome. I want to see what else you guys are saying. You said, "Yo, I saw the movie; it was pretty good." Shout out to Solomon Carter. What's up? I enjoyed Brave New World. It's better than Ant-Man 3 and Thor 4, in my opinion. All right, so you guys seem to be enjoying it. So I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it, and I'll say this: I actually enjoyed it. I actually quite enjoyed the movie. And I know the reception is mixed on this film. You know, how could there not be? I feel like this movie has had so much going against it. So much going against it since the very beginning. And I mean, everybody's going to have their biasness about Sam being Captain America. There's still people who are still calling him Falcon, which is to me wild. Because if this movie to me solidified him being Captain America, and I always felt like Sam Wilson was that person that I felt like would take on that liberty of being Captain America. I although I have my problems with his show Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think there's some things that I wish they would have gave more context to or kind of dived more into. At the same time, it's kind of like I feel like everybody should get their fair chance and fair shake. And so for me, I wanted to go into this movie not looking at what people are saying or the misinformation. There has been so much misinformation about this film that it's just ridiculous. I mean, you got people like John Campea who are saying that Sam Wilson shouldn't be the leader of the Avengers. It should be Rhodey, which is kind of weird to me because you're talking about the same Rhodey who I thought was supposed to have a series. Oh, that's right. Oh, they changed it to a movie. Oh, that's right. When is that coming out again? Oh yeah, the rumor is after Secret Wars. So you mean to tell me you want the guy who isn't even going to get his own show until after Secret Wars to be the leader of the Avengers? Like, come on, what are we talking about? So to me, there's just been so many people I've noticed online, and it's not casual. That's the thing about all of this outrage about this film is that it's just it's not it's people online, like a very loud narrative of online people who have so much of a hate and vendetta against this film. Casual people, they do not care about all this stuff that all these other people are yapping about. You know what in my opinion. So it just goes to show you. So like I said, I want to get into the comments because I don't want to rant about what's going on, but I just feel like there's so many, there's so much malarkey and so many hypocrites out here that I just feel like personally, when you sit down and talk to them and their reasonings for not liking the movie, like if you didn't like certain directions with the story, I get it. If you didn't like certain directions with the CG, I get it. But saying that this movie, you wanted this movie pretty much to fail, and then it already made back $190 million. It already made back its return, and probably is gonna make even more money. I just think to me, you're just showing more and more that you already had a biasness against this film from the very beginning, and you just didn't want this movie to succeed. And now you're mad that the movie is going to somehow potentially succeed, and now you don't like it. Now you want to go even further because people nowadays on the internet, they can't take back what they say because now they have to double down on what they say because if not, now they look stupid. So now people are starting to double down on what they said previously, even though they already look stupid enough with what they've said. So, I don't want to rant about it. I want to be positive about this and how we feel about it because it's about you guys. It's not about me. It's about you guys. So I'm just calling the hypocrisy and malarkey out there like it is. You should bring Kendrick on one of your streams. I would be down. I would be down to bring him on one of the streams. I almost did a stream after watching the movie, but I just didn't have the time. A lot of other things were going on that I had to do that day, so I wasn't able to. But the next time we go see a movie, me and him, I might try to set up a stream wherever we're at. It doesn't matter if we're out, out in the movie theater. Just do a little stream, a little casual stream, kind of get my thoughts, his thoughts on the movie. If you guys want to see that kind of content, I'd love to bring him on. So I think Captain America 5, if it happens, will get the real Serpent Society. I think so too, because this movie, there's definitely some things you can tell, like throughout the movie, there's definitely things that they had plans for, but they cut it because maybe it just didn't work out in the script, or maybe something else turned out. Maybe their plans changed and they wanted to keep these characters for something else in the future. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not looking for it to know because to me, in my honest opinion, I feel like we know too much now. As consumers, with all the leakers and scoopers and everything else, I feel like now it's gotten to a point where I feel like people know too much about what's going on behind the scenes, and it just takes away that element of going into stuff blind, not really knowing what's going to happen. So I always now I'm trying to keep like an open mind and not try to talk too much or say too much about things that maybe I have heard or maybe things that other people have heard that they've told me or things like that. I don't really like getting into that because I want people to go in with no biasness aside. I really feel like, again, this movie had so much going against it because people just can't accept the fact that a black man is taking on a shield and they don't want to accept it. And it's not just people outside of the race, it's people in my own race who feel that way. And it's just to me, it's a very frustrating thing that people feel that way to me. And it just comes off very jealous and very backstabbery, if that makes sense. Um, I think okay. I love the movie personally. I'm glad you loved it, Maria. I think you're new here. If you're still here, Maria, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you love the movie. Like I said, people are gonna like it. Some people are gonna like it. Some people are not, and that's okay. Like everybody has different taste, and that's fine. Solomon, they said they don't want to see a black Captain America. They wanted Bucky. That is the thing too. People make this argument. Oh, they should have gave Bucky the shield, and I'm like, well, why didn't you ask Steve? Ask Steve why he decided not to. Maybe he felt like Bucky wasn't the right person to give it to, and that's how I see it. Uh, you may want Bucky to be the Captain America, but he wasn't the one that was given the shield. It was Sam. And there was a reason why he was given that shield. And to me, I feel like people need to like learn to just let things kind of play out, because not everything is going to be explained all at once. I feel like people want too much exposition of things. And that's another problem that I feel like with movies and consumers now, is that people expect too much exposition. And not everything needs to be spilled out for you like you're a fifth grader, where you can put two together, you can kind of make some context of it. I would be sure that people would be able to put context two and two together, but who knows? Maybe some people don't. So it just all depends. I like the leader's plan against Ross after what he did to him in the past. I do not trust him after Thanos and deassembled the Avengers. Yeah, I do want to get into that, because I think the leader in this story, it's very interesting that they incorporated the leader. I mean, they kind of tied up that loose end with the Incredible Hulk film, because a lot of people were wondering, like, okay, what happened to him? What happened to Samuel after what we saw? And then we saw what happened. And I get, like, if for some people the design of how he looks isn't his big cone head, when you really think about it, it's kind of like a big cone head, his design. But I think them going for a more like mad evil scientist with his brain exposed, I think to me that's kind of more realistic. Although they could have went that route with him having his big giant head like in the comics, but again, not everything needs to be comic accurate. And I think that's another problem I have with these loud internet fans. It's not casual fans, it's loud internet fans who think that comic accuracy means good. Comic accuracy does not always mean good. I think people need to stop with that mindset, because I think it's really annoying when you have a property, you have a franchise who, yeah, they instill into the comics and the lore in these characters, but they're not always going to do a one to one. I think it would be, in my personal opinion, very boring to do a one to one of a comic story. Certain things, I do feel like Secret Invasion is kind of one of those things where, yeah, you kind of have to lean into the source material, because there's a whole story that goes on with that. I just think with Secret Invasion, they shouldn't have done a show. It should have been a full-on phase of just the scrolls. Who is a scroll? Who can we trust? Like, I feel like with Secret Invasion, that's something they should have done. So that's my criticism on that. But again, not every story needs to be this comic accurate one-to-one adaptation. Again, if you're gonna do that, I feel like you just need to go read the comics. That's what the comics are for. If you want that, I get wanting certain things, and again, you can take certain liberties from things. But if you're expecting that with every project, then you're setting your own self up for failure, in my honest opinion. But yeah, that post-credit scene with the leader, though. So I do want to talk on that a little bit, because I do feel like the leader definitely knows something. He knows. Now, we know what's coming. When he warned Sam, we know what's coming. But to the characters outside the other universe, the universe that they're in, like Sam, like a Thunderbolts, like a Fantastic Four, they don't know what's coming, but they will. They are going to find out in their own respective films. And that's why Sam is now going to assemble the Avengers even more, because that's going to be all in his mind. What is that threat that the leader is talking about? Although he may feel some kind of way that the leader might be just talking out of his head, literally. But maybe there is some truth to it. Think about it like this: when, the first phases of Marvel, right? When they teased Thanos throughout, right? The Infinity Stones, seeing Thanos in a post-credit scene, things like that, right? So they had those little hints and teases to what's to come. And I would imagine they're going to do the same thing throughout Thunderbolts, throughout the Fantastic Four, throughout the other projects that we get. Because they're going to have to really set in line what in the world is going on. with Doom. And I just hope that the setup is good. I hope they execute the setup really well for that. That's just my only thing about it. Still not set on RDJ being Doom, and I mean I say it every stream, but I'm not set on it yet. I'm not keen on it yet. I think I need to see more. I need to see where the story is going before I can feel like I'm set in stone with that. But yeah, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the last two episodes on my birthday. Oh, really? Well, I might be doing a stream that Wednesday because I might not be able to do one Thursday due to it snowing here. It's gonna snow here either Wednesday night or Thursday, so maybe I might be able to do it Thursday. It just depends. I'll have to let you guys know. But do you guys want me to do it on Wednesday, or do you guys want me to continue doing it on Thursday? Let me know. Rhea, you said still here. Hey, Miss Nicole, how you doing? I hope you're doing good today. We're talking Captain America: Brave New World, the movie that me and Kendrick, Kendrick, we watched Saturday. So again, I wonder if Sam still has that vial of serum that he said he should have took. That's a good question. I wonder if he still has it too. He might still have it, but he might still have it. So maybe if there is this, confrontation with him and Doom, I would imagine he's gonna think at that point, okay, maybe I do need this. I won't take much of it, but maybe I take it. But honestly, I don't think Sam needs the serum. I think what this movie proved is that Sam is someone who, yes, technical wise, he's someone that can, he can go toe to toe. He went toe to toe with Red Hulk. But then also, what makes him different from Steve is that also social side that Sam has. Sam was a counselor. So he was able to talk down, President Ross and kind of get him back to that stable uh, spot where he needed to be. And I think that's what helps him. But hey, make no mistake, that doesn't mean because Sam is someone who will try to negotiate with you that he's someone that you can just run over. No, if he needs to fight, he will fight. And we saw that. So I think that was the point of the movie. Um, People were ready to dump on this movie months before release with all the reshoots in the budget. Here's the thing with that, Fernando. They even confirmed, it was like an article, I think it was Variety or the Hollywood Reporter. They put out an article. And the reshoots, there was only one stage of reshoots and it was only like 22 days worth. And a lot of it was like photography type stuff that they said. So there was so much misinformation that came out about this film. And now that it's coming to me, check out the channel The Whole Shebang. They made a whole video breaking down and debunking a lot of the information and misconceptions that people had for this movie. He really laid it out on the line and really told people like, no, this is what happened. This is what happened. Like his video was so well documented that I was like, yeah, like I went and did the research myself. I went to all his sources. I was like, I want to see this for myself. And yeah, it really does add up to what he was saying. So when he broke it down like that, I was like, this is what people complaining about? Like, don't regular movies do this all the time? So there again, so much misinformation and just biasness towards people because they don't want Sam to be the Captain America, and for whatever reason you feel, people spread it all this, and again, misinformation. What's up, Radiant Films? You said, I thought Captain America was a 7 out of 10 and an actual enjoyable film. And if it's the worst MCU movie of the year, then it is going to be a great year for Marvel because this film was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Radiant. I know you were kind of like in the film. You were in the range of you were kind of uncertain about this film. You weren't sure. You wasn't sure if you were gonna check it out. You wasn't sure if you wanted to be. excited for if you were. So I'm glad that this film you went to check it out and at least gave it a chance. That's all you can do is just give stuff a chance. You may like it, you may not like it, but hey, you were able to go there and know what you wanted out of it, what you didn't want out of it. And again, just because you liked a movie, that doesn't mean that you might or may not have some complaints or, some things that you wish they could have done better or wish that the story could have elaborated on this part more. Because I do think there are some things that I do wish the film would have elaborated more on if it had more time, or just certain things that they could have cut out. But still, I think it's an enjoyable film. Like you said, there's some things in there that you can see, like, okay, I see where they were trying to go, and then it's like, okay, I see where they were trying to go here, I see where they were trying to go there. Maybe they could have expanded on it a little bit more, but again, um, I like I said, I thought it was an enjoyable film, and I guess it's for me it's like a 7.5 out of 10, and that's not even a bad rating. So when people like say, like, a lot of people have said gave it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. So when I see that, it's kind of like, to me, like, okay, this was an enjoyable film. Like, people enjoy going into it, and stuff. And so I think ultimately that's what matters. I mean, yeah, people want like the great like people want a great film, but not every film just needs to be a great film. Some films can be okay with just being a good film, and that doesn't make them bad. It's just, for certain people, it's just a good film. Maybe it didn't reach certain expectations that they had, but it was still an enjoyable film for them. So again, that's okay. Agreed. The comic accurate fan base can be very. Yeah, I agree. And I love when movies do show appreciation to the source material. I do. But I think when the discourse just gets so crazy obsessed with, oh, why isn't Spider-Man angry and frustrated in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man like he was in Amazing Fantasy 15? Or why isn't Deadpool, doing this to the TVA like he did in the comics? And I just feel like, to me, people get so wound up into comic accuracy that oftentimes they forget that comic accuracy doesn't always mean it's going to be a good film or a good show. That depends on the writing. You can include the comic accuracy in there to maybe further the story and things like that, or just show homage to the comic that you pulled from, to kind of get people interested in maybe reading those comics. But again, not everything needs to be this one-to-one storyline of the comics, because people like a certain comic run by a certain person. I just feel like people get so fused up in that, and they don't understand that the casual audience doesn't really care about that. You know what I mean? They just want a good movie. And I think for the casual audience who's seen this movie, they don't really care about all the misinformation and rumors that they heard, or a Rotten Tomatoes score, or the box office numbers. Like, people are trying to make this whole thing to prove whatever point that they have in their own mind. The casual audience doesn't care about that. They don't care about what you think about the box office numbers. They don't care about what you think about whatever you feel. It's just, I think people just get so wound up into wanting to be right that when they speak out, they're not always correct. They're not always speaking for. They think they're speaking for other people, but they're just speaking for themselves. So, yeah. When he said the others, that he could have been talking about mutants in 616, that's also a good point, because, I do feel like, in my honest opinion, the mutants are already here. Like, the mutants are definitely already here. It's just figuring out, like, how are they gonna play them into it? Are we gonna see them in Secret Wars? Are they just gonna completely do this reboot, after Secret Wars, and then, kind of say, like, oh yeah, we've always been here? They could do that. It just all depends. But Miss Marvel, isn't she They kind of did like a little tease with the X-Men theme. We saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, they're mutants, so obviously mutants exist. It's just, where are they right now? You know, that's the number one question. Where are they? The leader knows of the multiverse. I think he also researched the events of No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, and even the Marvels. Yeah, I mean, I feel like with, someone with a big brain like the leader, I feel like he would have to like at least know what's going on. He may not know the full extent, but maybe throughout time, things more and more things get revealed to him. I like to think of it as like the Doctor Strange moment, right? In Infinity War, where Doctor Strange, he knew there were like 14 million possibilities of what was going to happen, and only two of them, the Avengers, won, right? Like, it's one of those moments. So maybe that could be their way to kind of have maybe the leader come back into this, not like a big leading role, but maybe he's someone that is like, I knew this is going to happen. So maybe he could give some kind of idea or thought of what they could do or what could happen. So again, we'll find out. What's up? What's up, Lizzie? What's up? How you doing? Yeah, we having some interesting conversations. Leader, yeah, I already read that. Okay, I think it was a huge mistake to make certain changes for political reasons. Art should never answer to politics. I can understand your sentiment there, and yeah, I mean there was a lot of changes with the film. I mean there were certain things that they were going to do, like with the character from, I think she's from the Serpent Society, right? Or no, maybe she's not. Maybe she's just a character in. It was something about her character. She was an Israeli character, right? And because a lot of what was going on and still is going on, around the world, they had to change it for those reasons. I it that's like a hard topic to like talk about, because on one side you can kind of see like, well, this is all fiction. These are fiction characters. Why would they do that? But this isn't anything new. There's been a lot of times where movies have had certain things happen, but due to certain events that have happened, they might have had to change it. So a lot of things, it happens a lot. You know, it may be like an unfortunate thing, but it does happen with many different movies, and has a lot of things have gotten changed and altered because they don't want to bring back certain things that are either currently going on or have happened throughout our history. So I understand. I wonder if Doctor Doom is going to break the leader out of prison so he can recruit him to fight against the Avengers. And Ross gets out of prison and the Avengers recruit him. I could see that. Yeah, I definitely think Doctor Doom is going to assemble his own team of villains. Now, will we see the leader? Will we see the Beyonder? Will we see Kang again? There's been little rumors out there about Kang maybe possibly coming back into the fold. So maybe Doctor Doom sets up his own, little evil team, and that could maybe play into some. We'll have to see. I'm calling the police. Did you see any Easter eggs for Thunderbolts? I did. I did see something. So, that scene in the trailer where we see Sentry, right? And he's kind of like dusting people away into like these shadows, right? So, we obviously see that New York is like turned into like this dark void place. So, obviously, I feel like this is going to lead maybe the Thunderbolts into the void. I feel like that would be a nice way to kind of tie the void back into all of this. Since with Loki, with Deadpool, we've already seen like the void as this place. It seems like it might be a safe place. So who knows? Maybe that's where they build Battle World, is the void. It seems. I mean, that might be what they do. I honestly hate Sam as Captain. He just doesn't have that personality. Well, KM, we don't allow racist people in here, so you gonna have to get the boot, my friend. You out of here. We don't tolerate that. I wonder if we're ever going to see White Wolf in the MCU, and if we do, who should play him? Well, I don't know. Because, I mean, isn't Bucky the White Wolf? I might be wrong about that, though. But isn't he like the White Wolf, or becomes the White Wolf at some point? But I don't know if they're going to do that now since he's with the Thunderbolts. But maybe that's something they do after Secret Wars. It just all depends on the direction that they take with that. I wonder if we're ever going to see. Okay, I just read that. Another good thing I like about Brave New World is that it has the same tone as Winter Soldier. Yeah, certain scenes I definitely got the Winter Soldier vibe, like with some of the fight scenes. And that was like another thing people were like on about. Oh, the fight scenes. Fight scenes look so basic in here. It's like, well, okay, you choreograph a fight scene. You tell me what flips and kicks and everything else that this character needs to do to solidify top five combat fight for you. Now people look at Winter Soldier and yeah, Winter Soldier, yeah, that was the movie. You know, that's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And I'm sure for you guys, that's one of your favorite Marvel movies. And I'm okay with them taking inspiration from that. But it doesn't need to be a one to one to what they did with Winter Soldier. Because some things you just can't replicate. And that's okay. It's okay to do something different. And I think while they took inspiration and while they had some of the stunt team from that movie, I think that being able to put your own twist onto it for Sam, because Sam has a different fight style from Steve, and I like that. I like that their styles differentiate from each other. Steve is more of the, he's kind of more of a he gets in there. You know what I mean? And Sam, he's more of a technical fighter. He uses his wings. He uses his, you know, little gadgets and things like that to kind of help him through combat. But Sam, he's someone who, if the if the situation arises, he will get in there and get a little his hands dirty and things like that. So again, I think it's a great way to just differentiate both characters and why this Captain America is different than Steve Rogers, and I appreciate that. I think the leader has been working on harnessing DNA and giving it to regular humans, which will probably see those new mutants in Captain America 5 or 6. I could definitely see that, you know, if they decide to do Captain America 5 or 6, with that being the new era of Marvel, after Secret Wars, and with the mutants slowly coming in, you know, though I'm sure they'll probably coin it as they've already been here, due to the worlds colliding and whatnot. But even then, right? Their goal is to set up Avengers versus X-Men. Like their ultimate goal is to set that up down the road. Like I feel like that's a given. But even within that, right? The big question for me, and I don't really like going too far into the future of it, but the big question is who will the Avengers and X-Men face together? Because they're gonna have to team up. It's a given that they team up. So who will be that big bad for the Avengers and the X-Men to team up against? That is the real question. Sam, my recruit, Storm, Wolverine, and Beast. Hey, that's a solid team. I like that. But I think Sam is going to recruit heroes judging by how strong their abilities are and to be a good fit for the war. Yeah, because he recruited the new Falcon, which I like the new Falcon. I like him. He's starting out, he's new. Um, he's been doing it for some time. There's still some things that he's gonna have to learn and evolve with being the new Falcon, but I like him. I like the actor. I think he's funny. There are a lot of funny lines in there with him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll do on the team and stuff. So we kind of do have a confirmation that he is like the first official leader of the Avengers, technically. So are we gonna see maybe him recruit Bucky Barnes? Are we gonna see him, you know, recruit maybe a Carol Danvers or all these different other characters that we have seen throughout phases 4 and 5? Will we see him recruit them over time? I definitely feel like he'll try to go look for Doctor Strange, but we know Doctor Strange isn't really on the universe right now. He's in the dark dimension, so I'm curious about how that's gonna play into things. That's why I'm hoping we get a Doctor Strange 3. I hope we do, because we need answers on that. And people will get mad. Sam Wilson beat Red Hulk, and saying him being a good man should not defend a Red Hulk. Something up. He got lucky. Well, here's the thing. People said that he got lucky, but look at all the tech, right? Look at all the tech and technique he has, right? When you have Wakandan tech that's very powerful, and you saw how Red Hulk was just constantly slamming his fist on that tech, and that those wings from Wakanda had so much of that kinetic energy stored within them, and you saw how powerful it knocked him back, right? When you're able to have that sort of ability of having that power, now granted it was given to him, but when you're in situations like that, you have to do what you have to do. And some people will say, "Oh, it's a cop out. He used Wakandan tech," but Steve used Wakandan tech. His shield is from Wakanda, even though technically Steve's shield is actually made of adamantium. I think it's some kind of adamantium. I think, but obviously they changed it for MCU purposes for it to be vibranium. So I think that, to me, in my honest opinion, like, what's the difference? So I don't know why people would try to even bother to make that argument when Steve's literally using Wakandan tech himself. So yeah, but I thought he did a great job of handling the situation. In my honest opinion, like, he fought him. He de-escalated the situation. Again, the counselor social side of Sam that he's known for, right? He took his means with it, and it calmed him down. It calmed Ross down. He hit him where oftentimes you have to. You have to go to those personal places when it comes to maybe calming someone down when they're angry. And I think, with Red Hulk, I think it's a good analogy for us, as people. Sometimes we have a lot going on and we get stressed, and so many things happen all at once. We get so overwhelmed to the point where we just get angry, right? We Hulk out, we rage. And that's all a human thing, right? But when you're able to have something that you think about, or someone that you think about, or maybe someone to just kind of talk you down and say, like, "Hey man, I know you're going through a rough time right now, but think about this. Think about your family. Think about your friends. Think about your future," right? Think about all these things. And then when your mind starts to flash in all these moments of things that someone may be telling you, you start to kind of calm down just a little bit. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I was tripping. Maybe I was getting a little too overwhelmed in myself. It calmed him down. He brought up his daughter. His daughter is his heart. We saw that when he had that conversation with his daughter. His daughter is his heart. So that's what made him calm down. What comes out first? Secret Wars or Doomsday? Doomsday. We can't have Secret Wars without Doomsday, which I still feel like, I don't know if they are, but to me, I feel like Secret Wars needs to be two parts, because again, there's so much that happens in Secret Wars that I don't feel like one movie just does it justice. Like, they need to split Secret Wars into two movies. And yeah, maybe people might feel like why do that? Like, why delay the inevitable? But it's like, again, there's so much story, and I just don't think fitting it into one film is enough. So hopefully that's something they consider. I enjoy the character of Sam Wilson, but I don't think the MCU did a proper job of developing the character to replace Steve Rogers. Okay, Fernando, I want to hear your thoughts about that. Like, what do you think Marvel needs to do to further develop Sam as the new Captain America? I kind of want to hear your thoughts about that because I have heard some people say that, and again, that might be a fair argument that you feel that way. So I kind of want to hear what you think they should do or what you would do differently. Hey, do you like the Doctor Strange films? I'm a big fan of his. I just wish they would show his true power. I'd give he's the most powerful in the MCU. I do. I like the Doctor Strange films. I do think they hold like you. I do feel like they do hold back on his potential. There's a lot of things I would love to see them do in a Doctor Strange movie that they just haven't done yet. And maybe they don't have the resources. And I've said it many times. CG can only get you but so far. With all the crazy effects and powers and abilities that these characters have. And sometimes you might not be able to pull it off in live action. So that's why they have Marvel Animation now to kind of, you know, they can do the crazy effects and things and stuff like that in animation because it just gives them a limitless opportunity to instead of, you know, instilling so much money into trying to get the VFX, trying to get the CGI, all that stuff, right? Like that takes a lot of time and money. But when you have animation, I feel like you can get away with doing all the things that people want to see. All the crazy worlds and dimensions and stuff that Doctor Strange has traveled through, just throughout his journey and run as the sorcerer, right? So I do like the Doctor Strange films. I do think the second one had a lot of missed opportunities. But I am, if they are gonna do a third Doctor Strange film, I hope that with the third one they really like knock it out the park because again, I still feel like Doctor Strange is a very underutilized character and there's so much mystery around Doctor Strange that I would love to see just explored more. Like I said, rather it's a movie, a cartoon, just a Disney Plus series, whatever it is, just let's explore more of that. I have been hearing about Strange Academy. They are kind of thinking about doing Strange Academy, either as an animated show or as just a Disney Plus show. I hope it's animated because again, I think that would be cool. You can kind of get away with a lot more stuff in that instead of doing just a straight on like live action thing where you have to even build more energy into this TV show with doing the CG effects and things like that. So, I said only time will tell. But I would love a Strange Academy show, especially if we learn more about Doctor Strange and just the mystery behind him. I like the new Falcon. There's times where he's too cocky, and nearly got himself killed on the Celestial Island. Yeah, he definitely got himself killed. Like he's got a lot of learning. He's got a lot of learning to do. When you're young, everybody's like that at some point in their life. When you're young and you feel on top of the world, and all it takes is just a beat down or something to happen, and you're like, dang, I'm not really this unstoppable force like I think I am. So I think he had one of those moments, but I feel like Falcon, he's going to learn from that moment. He's going to take into consideration what Sam told him, and he's going to try to evolve. And there is one thing that I do wish this movie would have touched on because there is one particular character that I feel like was missing. We got Isaiah Bradley in here, and I'm happy. Like I like Isaiah Bradley. I wish they could just do I wish they could do a Marvel throwback special presentation on Isaiah Bradley, giving people the history on Isaiah Bradley and what happened to him. Like I would love to see like a movie or a Disney Plus series on Isaiah Bradley, because there's a lot of interesting stuff with his story and that his grandson Patriot, right? Like we obviously know he's there, right? He wasn't anywhere in this movie, and I did hear that he was in an early cut of the movie, but or early script of the movie, but he was cut out. I don't know why he was cut out. I think they gave a reason why, but I don't remember. But that is the one character that I wish would have just shown up in here. It would have been really cool if he would have had like a conversation with Sam, right? Um, just kind of about a little bit more about being Captain America and maybe some history about Sam. Maybe we learned some things about Sam that we didn't know, from the perspective of Patriot, and maybe that kind of influences Patriot to kind of be his own kind of hero and things of that nature. Because we definitely it definitely feels like in the show they hinted at him having some abilities, we just didn't see it. So hopefully, we get something from that because I would love to see that character. Yeah, he's starting off. If we do get an Avengers vs. X-Men, which side should Miss Marvel be on since she's a mutant but idolizes Captain Marvel? That could be a great plot right there. A little subplot. Who will she align herself with? What side will she take? But I think honestly she would take the side of the Avengers because although she may have her mutant powers and abilities, I think knowing Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau for so long, and Cassie Lang and all the other characters that she's going out to find, I feel like over time she'll start to build that loyalty up with them. Now, if they say for example they do something wrong, maybe they start treating the mutants, you know, uh, they start being out of pocket with the mutants, then I could see her maybe having that contemplating decision of, yeah, I don't think I want to be with the Avengers. I want to be where the X-Men, you know? So that could be a great little subplot with Avengers versus X-Men. What side will she choose? Is Doctor Doom skilled in combat? I think so. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know too much about Doctor Doom as far as just little appearances here and there that he's had with the Fantastic Four and other characters. But Doom is I know Doom, he's a very intelligent person. So I feel like Doom is one of those people that, you send him on, I feel like you mess with him, he's going to be very strategic with how he goes about handling, you know, a problem that he would think of it in a very smart and intelligent way. So I think he would be a skilled fighter. Just again, more brains and a little bit of brawn. But the brawn and the brains working together, that's a bad individual. If you got somebody who's smart and can throw down at the same time, leave them alone. They are one cold individual. That's one person that you don't want to bump into the street. We've seen too many movies with too many characters who are not only smart, but can fight at the same time. That is a powerful individual. The big bad for the Adventures in X-Men, Avengers vs. X-Men and the team up is Mr. Sinister or Bastion and the Sentinels. I could definitely see either Mr. Sinister or Bastion being that person. I think Bastion would be pretty cool for that. We saw him in X-Men 97. We saw what he was able to do in that too. So I definitely could see him trying to start a war with the X-Men, with the Avengers and X-Men. Because he tried to do it in X-Men 97. We kind of almost got a war a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but the tensions definitely felt very high throughout those episodes when it came to the Avengers and the X-Men. So, who knows? If they want to do Battle Worlds, I think Battle Worlds battles will be fought on with 1,000 different planets with 1,000 different teams. Well, I definitely do feel like there are going to be different Earths that collide for sure, because we're kind of already seeing the effects of it happen, and within that, how many worlds are we talking? Are we just talking one? Are we talking three? Are we talking six worlds colliding at the same time? And I'm still curious about the Fantastic Four. That's one of the biggest projects for me that I'm just very curious about, because is their world gonna collide with the main MCU, or is that world just gone because Galactus ate it? Like, there's still so much mystery and curiosity that I have for the Fantastic Four that I think that they will answer. So I'm just gonna give it time. I'm not gonna be like these people on Twitter who every 2 weeks, we still don't know why the giant sentinel is sitting in the ocean. We'll watch the movie. You got an answer. You have an answer of what happened now. Like that used to annoy me on Twitter. It was like every other day. We still don't know what this sentinel is doing sitting in the ocean. Like, you'll find out. Let it play out. So I think it's all about people also needing to be patient. You know what I mean? And I feel like I know for some it's hard because, people want answers about things. And sometimes not every answer is going to be, resolved right then. There's a lot of post-credit scenes that we've had in phase 4 and 5 that people are trying to find out the answers to. And I just think that over time, we're going to find out the answers to those questions. Again, it just takes a long time because it's not like Marvel can put out a movie every month about, these things. It's not like they can, like a comic run, right? Where every month you get a new issue and the story continues. This is years of development and production that we're talking about. So I'm glad is I'm not sure who you're talking about there. I like him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm sure you're talking about somebody. What character are you talking about, Carter? No, no, I get mad. I'm like the comic version of Hulk. Yeah. Bro, not gonna lie, superhero fatigue isn't real. My theater for Captain America was a packed house. Yeah, when me and my buddy went, Kendrick went, the theater had a good amount of people. It wasn't packed or anything, but there was a good amount of people. And they definitely were, it seemed, from the looks of it, there were hardly people who left out. So, from the looks of it, people definitely seemed like intrigued with what was going on in the movie. So, again, I just think it's loud internet fans who are always complaining and finding stuff to hate and things like that. Because, again, when it comes to the casuals, when you actually sit down in a theater and see the casual people who may not know what the heck this leads to, they probably don't even know that Doctor Doom is even the big bad. You know what I mean? Like, these are casual people we're talking about that probably saw the trailer for the Thunderbolts, but they're like, okay, I'm not going to make too much of a connection with that, or Fantastic Four, you know what I mean? So I think from that aspect of it, when I look at it, it's like, for them, they're like, I just want a good movie. Like, that's all I want is a good movie. So, yeah. What's up, DJ Knight? I definitely need to see this movie. Hey, I said, hey, if you want to see it, if you're curious about it, go see it, Um, Radiant Film. People aren't tired of superhero movies. They're tired of bad superhero movies. That's the thing. And I make this argument not just for superhero movies. Although more times than not, it's like people, already make it. It's just superhero movies. I think people just want good movies in general. They want good movies, a compelling story, interesting characters, fun dynamics, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of this and that, in between, that feels meaningful and to the heart. I think that's what people want. Again, but it's different, depending upon what you ask someone. If you ask 1,000 people, more times than not, every single person that you ask out of the 1,000, they're going to say something different. It may be similar, but they're going to put it differently. So I think of it like when it comes to movies, there are going to be people who like a certain movie for certain reasons. There's going to be people who don't like a movie for certain reasons. And then there's going to be people who are just simply indifferent about the movie. They don't care about it. They don't care about what happened. They just wanted to go see a movie. So, uh, again, that's what's so dope about, I think, Hollywood and just the entertainment industry as a whole is that there's people who, work up their entire lives to entertain people, and they try as best as they can. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But again, like I always say, it's always about taking that risk when it comes to just the entertainment industry, movies, games, TV shows, books, comic books, it doesn't matter. It's all about taking that risk. And again, sometimes it works out and sometimes it just doesn't. You go back to the drawing board, you say, okay, what could we have done better? And you do better the next time. You learn from your mistakes. And that's just life in general. Who will be the villain for Secret Wars? What do you think if it's not Doctor Doom? I'd say the Beyonder. That's my guess. I feel like the Beyonder would be the big bad if it isn't Doom, but I feel like they're gonna keep Doom all the way through this, being the the big bad. So yeah, I would have liked Kang to maybe have like a big prominent role, but I don't know. Like I said, there's rumors out there. Marvel might be interested in bringing Kang back, which I would be okay with, because again, I feel like they didn't give Kang his full potential. His full potential wasn't shown, and I don't think killing Kang off in an Ant-Man movie did it any justice either. So I would at least like a redemption for Kang. Um, Honestly, in my opinion. So, but it's definitely gonna be Doctor Doom. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be Doctor Doom if they're going to have a big bad like Thanos. Yeah. Although, like I said, I still feel like it's too early for Doom. I feel like they should have waited for Doom, in my honest opinion. But I understand at that moment they were scrambling around so much to the point where they were like, "Oh man, well, what are we gonna do?" And I think to that side of things, I think they kind of made a very, in my opinion, safe decision by doing Doctor Doom because it's what people on the internet said. A lot of people wanted Doom. I said personally, I think it's too early for Doom. They need to wait on Doom. And I still feel that way. But I think Marvel was seeing a lot of what people were saying, and they said, you know what? They want Doom. The fans want Doom. Let's give them Doom. And I do think even within that decision, bringing back RDJ, they felt like that was a great business decision because we're already familiar with RDJ. And although I think they should have had someone else play Doom, like a Cillian Murphy, or there's plenty of other actors out there that I feel like could have fulfilled the role. But I feel like they made the safe choice, and I still feel that way. What's up? Oh, thank you for the $5 chat. Miss Nicole, thank you. Great content. There's a lot I don't understand about certain characters, but being in this chat helps. Hey, no worries. I will definitely will help you through it. Anybody that I'll try to give my best advice or sources or tips or whatever I know as best as I can. And you guys, you help me out too, because I don't know everything about these Marvel characters. I can't go down the Marvel dictionary and name every Marvel character from A to Z. I don't know all that. There's certain things that I know and certain things that I've read about through comics or maybe through things that I hear, getting on top of the entertainment news. But I don't know everything. I even suggest to you guys all the time if there's any comics that you guys want me to read, I'm always all ears to hear because I do, have a list and I check out the comics when I have time, and it just gives me a little bit more context into certain characters and their history and their evolution. So I'm always open to that mindset. I don't want to be how like I feel like a lot of people are in this space where They feel like they know everything. They know every comic. They know every appearance of, certain characters. And it's like, I may know the appearance of Black Panther and Fantastic Four. I may know the appearance of, Spider Man in Amazing Fantasy 15. But if you ask me the appearance of, Demolition Man or Condiment King from DC or whatever the case, I'm not going to be able to tell you that because I don't know. But there are people out there who do. There are people out there who do know about these things. So it's always good to just kind of keep an open mind and just trying to be more open to what other people are, their knowledge that they have about these characters. I think that's very important because we don't know everything. But Battle World should be animated because in animation they can go so far with it. Doesn't even make sense. Yeah, like I said, if Marvel wants to take Marvel animation into a big major sector, kind of like how DC did, and they've talked about it before, and I made a video talking about, Marvel is interested in doing theatrical films, theatrical animated films, might I add. They're interested, but it's just figuring out. I guess they're trying to figure out what they should do it on. I still think an X-Men '97 movie in the theaters would go so hard. I would love to see that. I don't know if they're gonna do it. There were talks of it for a time. I don't know if they're still going to do it or not. But I would love to see some theatrical animated films from Marvel. I think this is a great time to do it. Isaiah Bradley, that's it. That's who I was looking for. Isaiah Bradley. Who do you think wins in a fight, Thanos or Darkseid? I know some about Thanos and I know some about Darkseid, but I don't know too much as far as like power set. But to me, from what I've read, it feels like Darkseid might have the advantage, but I might be wrong. Wait, didn't Doctor Strange get punished by the Illuminati? Could be wrong. Yeah, he did. He did get punished. They had the council there of the Illuminati, and they kind of said like you caused an incursion, with two worlds. John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic, he broke it all down and explained, you cause an incursion, which means two worlds are colliding, which causes a big multiversal effect that affects the entire universe, but as well as other universes. And he went into the whole thing. Um, how old is Joaquin Torres? I'm not sure, but he definitely has to be at least 18. I feel like he would at least be 18. He even has like his University of Miami. If you saw in the movie when he's training with Sam and uh, you guys know what I'm talking about. You saw him with the University of Miami shirt on, so he might be in college. To be quite honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if he is doing college classes. He might not be going on the college campus, but he might be doing college courses like maybe online or something during his downtime. What do you think the Ten Rings was signaling in your opinion? I think for me, the Ten Rings was signaling um, that there's a bigger force out there. The universe isn't just one thing. There's a whole multiverse out there, and there's dangerous things out there in the multiverse that people on their Earth are not aware of. So I think the Ten Rings was a sign telling them like there's danger coming. You may not know when it's coming, but it's coming. So I think that might be their way to kind of play Doctor Doom maybe acquiring the Ten Rings and maybe Miss Marvel's Bengals, maybe doing something similar to what they did, what the script had for Kang Dynasty. Because I remember Kang Dynasty had a reference to the Ten Rings and Miss Marvel's Bengals being like a big like part of that. So maybe that's something they do. Maybe they still continue that, but with Doom. Maybe Sam will give the serum to Patriot instead of giving him the blood transfusion from Isaiah. I could see that. I could see them doing that. Like I said, that's why I was kind of like, if there's one thing I would have changed about the movie, it's including Isaiah Bradley, because we still need a follow up on that. Because obviously, for those who know him, he's gonna be Patriot. But I just wish we would have gotten a follow up on that. Isaiah Bradley, I like him in Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, I want to see a spinoff with Isaiah Bradley so we can see the fight scene with him and Bucky. Probably in animation because it would look better in animation. Like I said, if they did a Disney Plus series, and they don't even have to do effects or anything for that, right? All they have to do is just have them doing old school fighting like they did back in the day. And I think it would still be entertaining because we've seen with the first Avenger, we've seen with Steve's combat and Winter Soldier, he can go that old school route, right? Doing the flips and the throwing of the shield and all that, right? So they don't even have to do all the crazy VFX and stuff. They can go very practical with the show like that. Isn't Doctor Doom's mom a witch? I don't, that's a good question. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that much about Doom. I know like a few things about him, but I don't know as far as who his parents are or anything. So if you guys like have any Doctor Doom comic suggestions that you guys want to bring to me, definitely like let me know. I definitely want to learn more about Doom and why he is the way he is and his intelligence meter, like how intelligent is he? Cuz we got a lot of geniuses in Marvel. You got your Bruce Banners, you got your Peter Parker, your, Victor Von Doom. Like, you have the geniuses. But I've always been curious about the man behind the brain. So I want to know how much knowledge, how smart is Doom? And Sam bricks it up. As far as let's see, what were you talking about? Oh, you talking about Isaiah Bradley? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that would be good. I think that would be cool. I do want to ask this. I want to get your guys' opinions because we haven't talked about him yet. What did you guys think about Sidewinder? I know he was kind of like a secondary villain in the movie, but what did you think of Sidewinder? I thought Giancarlo Esposito, he came in there, he did what he needed to do, and you know, we're gonna see his character again. This isn't gonna be the last time we see his character, that's for sure. Because I know that I think Giancarlo Esposito, he said before we even knew what his character was, because we were theorizing what his character was, who he could be, who he could not be, and things like that. And I do remember him saying that his character was going to return in a Disney Plus series or something he mentioned to that statement a while ago. So we're definitely going to see his character come back. It's just when, you know. And when I saw the movie, I didn't like when someone blurted out loud disrespectful. What did they blurt out loud, if you don't mind me asking? You said, I like Sidewinder. That fight between him and Sam is cool. I liked how Sam double kicked him. Yeah, again, Sam taking his technicality and combat skills to a different level than what Steve does. And again, just differentiates the two even more. And in that scene, it also kind of showed that, yeah, Sam, he still can get down without the Wakandan tech and all of that. So for people saying that he can, because he actually did with Sidewinder. Yeah, Solomon, you said someone was blurting out something disrespectful. What did they say? But yeah, I like Sidewinder's character, and I'm definitely interested to see where they take his character next. Like I said, Giancarlo Esposito, he's one of my favorite actors. Uh, I aspire to be him as an actor because he's a very well versed, actor. He's done so many roles, good and bad, that you know it's. I feel like even though he's like a very popular actor, I still feel like at the same time he doesn't get his flowers. Um, I mean, I grew up watching the Spike Lee joints. Do the right thing. Um, what was that movie? It's about the school. What was the name of that movie? School Days. That's it. School Days. So again, like I grew up with that. Then, Malcolm X. He was in that, and before he got big in Star Wars and Breaking Bad, like I knew him growing up from those films. I like the leader. He used his smarts to outsmart everyone, and what Ross was doing with him in those 16 years is messed up. And his brain broke out of his skull. Yeah, like in a way, Ross was getting his payback for what happened to him in Incredible Hulk, right? What he did to Samuel in the Incredible Hulk, and he executed this plan for 16 years. Imagine having somebody who doesn't like you for that amount of time executing this plan for 16 years. You have to really hate someone to spend 16 years of your life planning this whole thing just to take this person down. Like, you have to have that much hate in your heart for someone to do that. I'm trying to see if I mean, Spider Man's smart and he can somewhat fight. Is that what someone said? So were they saying that in reference to, oh yeah, well, Spider Man, he can do better than Sam? I like obviously so because Spider Man again he has the agility and stuff that Sam doesn't have. Like Spider Man's a very agile hero, so he can do all the flexible backflips and front flips and tumbles and all that stuff, right? Like he's prone to do that, right? So for me, when people compare Sam to Spider Man, I'm like, well, that's like comparing, uh, I don't know. That's like comparing. I can't really think of a good comparison right now, but trying to compare the two, I don't think is a good idea. Is the point I'm trying to make. If there are rumors that Jonathan Majors will come back and finish his role as Kang, doesn't the Beyonder have the telekinetic powers and advanced technology? From what I remember, he does. Like I said, I don't know that much about the Beyonder either. It's just from things that I've either searched up on or have read like a little bit of, you know. The 2008 Hulk takes place in 2010, while Brave New World is taking place in 2027, and the Thunderbolts will take place in the same year in MCU timeline wise. So yeah, with even let's get into that. How did you guys feel about the Bucky Barnes cameo? How did you guys feel about that? I thought it was nice. It definitely got a pop reaction out of me in the theater. Like, like I said, "Hey!" And I think people in the theater heard me too, but I didn't care because, you know, Bucky Barnes is one of those characters. He's been cemented in the MCU for so long. He's a veteran. So anytime you see a veteran character, there's not gonna be a reason why you won't, react to it. So yeah. I want to say Absorbing Man. That's who I want to see in the MCU. Absorbing Man. I've never heard of Absorbing Man before. Hmm. I wonder where Marvel Fan is. I haven't seen him. He wasn't in the last stream. He might not have seen the movie yet, but if he is in the stream on Thursday, I think I'm still gonna do it on Thursday. It just depends on how the weather is here, because again, it's gonna be snowing here, so it just all depends on how that whole thing plays out. But I will still do a live stream for the finale of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man for those who are curious. What's up, Caden? What's up, man? We talking Captain America: Brave New World. I gave my thoughts, I gave my review, an opinion on what I thought about the film, and we're kind of just talking about certain things. You said, I love the Bucky Barnes cameo. He'll be running for Congress in the Thunderbolts. Yeah, he will. He got on his congressman attire, uh, and he even said to Sam, which he said that he was going to a charity event, but I don't think he's going to a charity event. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but I just think that he might be he might have gone to the charity event and then maybe that's how we play into the events of the Thunderbolts with Val. Maybe Val contact him at the charity event. That's something they could do. That'd be a nice way of kind of connecting the dots of, his cameo in this film. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I think those movies are gonna be good too. I got that feeling that those movies are gonna be good. You know, the first trailer for the Thunderbolts didn't sell me. The D23 special look they did, it was kind of like, but then the one they dropped for the Super Bowl, I was like, yeah, okay, I want to see this now. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. So I think if they had just released that trailer first, I think more people would have been, not saying that people weren't hyped for it or interested, but I do think people would have been a little bit more interested in as far as what the Thunderbolts may consist of. So, again, they sold me on that game spot that they did. If you haven't checked out my reaction to that, check that out. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The crazy void in the New York in the trailer looks very crazy. Wonder what's happening with that. Sentry pretty much whisking people away into shadows. I wonder what's going on with that. So a lot of answers and curiosity around the Thunderbolts, for sure. I love the Red Hulk fight. I think it is awesome and crazy. Yeah, like again, when you have someone who's like Sam, who he tried to take the counselor approach at first. He tried to talk him down, didn't work. So then he said, you know what? If you want to fight, I'll give you a fight. So he gave him a fight, but then when he tore his helmet and his wings off, which at that moment, it's intense because not only has the Red Hulk tore off his wings off of his suit, not only has he took down Red Wing, but now he's literally crushing his helmet. And at that moment, you're scared to death because you're thinking Sam, at that moment, he might not make it out. But he was able to make it out. And he talked him down. And that was that. So, what's up, Nostalgic Times? What's up, man? We talking Captain America: Brave New World. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts. I would love to, hear what you thought about it. Spoilers, of course. But yeah, I thought it was a good fight. I do think it. I do wish it would have lasted a little bit longer, but I still think it was solid. You know. I like the movie. There were some problems. All right, yeah. So I definitely do feel like there are some things that I felt like were missing in the film. So I'd like to know what were some things that you felt like were missing, because I do feel like there are some things. Again, I kind of mentioned a little bit of them, but I do definitely see like there were some scenes that were kind of there, but then they kind of moved to another scene. So I don't know if again there was it felt like there was a lot of things that got cut, and you can kind of see it, you can kind of feel it and see it at the same time in the movie. The dialogue was quiet, and the music was loud. That is one thing I will say. The music in this movie doesn't feel grand. It doesn't feel grand. Usually, when it comes to a Marvel movie, it does feel like the music would have this kind of grand vibe to it, but this didn't feel that way, and I think that might be a downside for me. I think music wise, I think didn't feel the music just didn't feel impactful. There were certain scenes where the music was kind of like okay, it kind of picked up a little bit, but then it kind of slowed down again. So I definitely understand your sentiment there with that. As far as the dialogue, I do think in certain scenes the dialogue was kind of like they were saying something in certain scenes, and then maybe they kind of cut to a different scene, and it kind of felt like the conversation was cut off. You know how like you play a video game, right? And maybe you got to the area that you were supposed to get to too early, so the entire dialogue just got cut off. Like I do feel like there were certain parts in the movie where it did feel that way, like you were playing a video game mission. Yo, did you see the heat coming out of the Red Hulk too? Yeah, I did. I did. uh he was very absorbent of the heat. It didn't mean anything to him, which I think Red Hulk, that's one of his abilities. If I'm not too sure. Again, like I said, I don't know too much about Red Hulk, just based off of things that I've looked up and read on. But I think he's kind of heat resistant or resistant to heat or heat. It's something with heat. I remember. And the movie itself didn't feel like an hour and 58 minutes. It felt shorter. I do feel that way too. Like in the theater, I did feel like we were just there at the movie. Like me and Kendra, we were at the movie, and like I said, I was entertained by it, but I did feel like there was just a little bit of something that they could have added more time with. Rather, it was the fight scene with him and Red Hulk. Rather, maybe more dialogue with him and uh, Isaiah Bradley, right? Like I do feel like there should have been at least maybe a little bit more conversation. They had the action. They definitely had the action, but I think a little bit more conversation would have been nice. I think the story did kind of start out slow, and the script could have been better. Yeah, the movie was definitely like very slow. Like I'd say like the first 25 minutes of the movie felt very slow paced. But then as soon as after that 25 minutes, it felt like the movie was starting to pick up. And then we were kind of like, okay, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes here. So I do agree with that. Like the movie did feel like a very slow burn. And not always a slow burn is always a good thing. Sometimes you kind of want to get into what's going on, as well as kind of have those slow moments, but then knowing to kind of pick back up on the pace. The Doctor Doom could be looking for the 10 rings, and he confronts them, and he's like, give me the 10 rings now. Well, I'm going to force you, and Shang-Chi is like, do it, and we get a big fight. Yeah? Maybe they have a fight between, because I don't know if you guys saw, There was a picture recently with the actress of Miss Marvel, Vellani, and Simu Liu. I think that's his name. I sorry if I butchered it, but there was a picture recently with him and her. I don't know if they were watching Captain America or they were just at an event together, but I did see that. So we do know that the Avengers Doomsday is going to start filming next month. A little later in the month. It was supposed to be just next month, but I think due to a recent report, they said that they're still not finished with the script for Avengers Doomsday, so they're gonna wait until a little bit after into the month just to start filming. But I did hear some of the actors are already in location or working to be in location, so we're gonna find out more about Doomsday, about the filming. I don't want things to get spoiled. I don't want things to get leaked out there. I don't want any scoopers telling me who's showing up in the film because that's what I'm going to do once the movie is out. Once that first trailer is out, I'm going to go in with my own thoughts and theories and kind of again speculate with you guys what we think is going to happen in Doomsday. And then when Doomsday comes out, that's when the real story begins. I don't need to know that Hugh Jackman is returning in Doomsday. I don't need to know that, so and so is going to be a secondary villain in Doomsday. I don't need to know that. I just want to go into this movie knowing some things but not knowing everything. The heat is a part of Red Hulk's powers. Okay. See, I didn't know that, so I learned something new about Red Hulk today. You said hopefully they fix the dialogue and the music before it starts streaming on Disney Plus. The movie didn't feel slow paced for me. Okay. But yeah, I think they will. Because they still work on these movies even after they're on Disney Plus. Like, when they put the movies on Disney Plus, a lot of them weren't even in IMAX enhanced quality. But now with a lot of the previous Marvel movies, if you go on Disney Plus, they're all IMAX enhanced with the Dolby. I can't remember what they call it. It's the highest quality of Dolby that you can get. I think Dolby Atmos. Atmos. I think that's the name of it. So throughout time, they're gonna keep working on the CGI, the VFX, and all that, and the sound quality. I'm sure they're gonna keep working on it because if you guys remember with Across the Spider Verse, the beginning with Gwen and the drums. For a lot of people, they complained that that scene, the drums was too loud, so they couldn't hear her talking. And then they changed it while it's still in theaters. So they still make changes to movies even when they're in theaters. They just send out a different copy where they fix a lot of those things. So I feel like they're gonna keep fixing and working on stuff even after. Earlier, I was talking about somebody burping out loud. Somebody burped out loud in the theater. It happens, you know. Um, Hopefully, they weren't burping constantly in the theater to kind of, because that would be kind of annoying for sure if the person is like constantly burping in the theater or constantly sneezing or coughing or they have their phone out. Especially if someone has like their phone out and it's like their brightness is turned all the way up. My goodness. It happens, but my goodness. You gotta turn your brightness down when you're in the movie theater at least. And I'm not someone who's a big on, being on your phone in the theater, but I know things may come up or things may happen, so um, I respect it. But there are people who go out of their way to record or record the entire movie on screen. I'm like, what's the point in that? Like, you go there, you pay your money, just go see the movie. And if you want to tell people to go see the movie, just tell them to go see the movie. If not, just don't tell them, I guess. Uh, so yeah. Earlier I was talking. Yeah, okay, I read that. Another problem about Brave New World. I wish we got to see more of Red Hulk before the final act. Yeah, I do agree with that too. I do feel like we should have gotten at least a little bit of some backstory with Red Hulk. What causes President Ross to become the Red Hulk. A lot of things I wish they kind of would have went further in. So maybe the movie should have been at least maybe an hour. Because I believe you said that the movie was like an hour and 58 minutes, right? Maybe they should have gone maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes just to kind of add a little bit more time in there. But the domination went from a total beast to a comedic joke. Yeah, yeah. That's unfortunate, you know? That's unfortunate. Knowing with the 2008 movie with Abomination, and then he shows up in She-Hulk, and it's like a complete joke. And I've gave my feelings on She-Hulk. I didn't like the show. I think there was a lot of things that they incorporated in the show that to me just either wasn't needed or they didn't need to go in that direction. And I know for a lot of people, there are a lot of people who didn't like the show because it was a woman lead, and a lot of people feel, again, there's a community who feels a certain type of way because if you're not a male or white male at that in a leading role in a film or movie, then they already have their own biasness towards it. But for me, it wasn't that with She Hulk. It was just that a lot of the story directions, it felt like a lot of it, you just didn't pay off, or a lot of it just kind of felt like they were just putting stuff in there. Like it didn't feel like there was a full story with She Hulk, which is unfortunate because I like the actress. I like the actress of She Hulk. I like her, but I just didn't like what they did with her story. But I do feel like she needs a redemption. She does need a redemption. So hopefully with these Avengers movies, maybe they can give her that redemption arc or something. We'll have to see. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to do something that Spider-Man could do, but my 280 pound self was busting my ass. Hey, listen. We've all tried to be Spider-Man at one point in our lives. Rather, we were kids, thinking that we could hang off upside down off the monkey bars like Spider-Man, or do a running backflip off the wall. We tried to do many things like Spider-Man. Sometimes we either got hurt, or we ended up breaking something, or anything. It is so it happens, you know? Spider Man is a character that a lot of people aspire to be, and he gives them hope. So it's normal. You got nothing to feel bad about. I do like the connection of the 2008 Hulk movie with the battle between Hulk and Abomination. Yeah, like I said, they do. I do feel like they do a good job of kind of tying those loose ends with the 2008 Hulk movie without needing the Hulk to show up. They could have easily said like, "Hey, Mark Ruffalo, throw you some cash. We need you in here." But they didn't do that because to me, that would already sideline Sam in the movie, and I hope that they didn't do anything to sideline Sam in the movie. And to my honest opinion, I don't think they did. I think they did a good job kind of showing his journey within the movie. And I can only hope they continue to show within his journey because again, this was the movie that people were mixed on, and people are still mixed on this movie. You know, like I said, I don't look at Rotten Tomatoes. I don't look at all these reviews and stuff because, you know, I like to go into things with my own thoughts and my own clean slate, and then I make my own thoughts after seeing the movie. So when you see like a Rotten Tomatoes score that's like 52% from the critics and like 80% from the audience. It's kind of like there's this weird thing of, okay, so the critics think this movie wasn't all that. But then you have the other side, the audience, that's kind of like, you know what, this movie actually was pretty good. This movie was actually enjoyable. So, again, that's why I say don't get too. Stop getting caught up into these Rotten Tomatoes scores or these box office stats that people like to get into because I feel like people just get so caught up in that all the time. And it's like, what point are you trying to make besides you saying you just didn't want this movie to succeed? And like I said, I got no issue or problem with John Campea because that's his opinion. But I feel like just kind of watching his stream today, like I kind of felt like, in a way, there was kind of this. It seemed like he didn't like the film, but he kind of wanted his film to not succeed. Like to me, and I may be wrong about that. I may be coming off completely wrong because sometimes we don't always get it right as people. But to me, it kind of came off as if I didn't like this movie. I don't understand why people like this movie. I don't understand why people are watching this movie. Because he was kind of like, oh, I didn't expect it to do this much. It's like, well, there's a lot of people who didn't expect this movie to do this much, but it did. So, what are you gonna do? 190 people worldwide, and then people making the argument, well, this movie didn't really have much competition going up against it. You had Paddington and that other movie. It's like, well, if that's the case, there's been other Marvel movies in the past that didn't really have that much competition. If we're really being honest. But no one made that argument then. No one said that. They just said, like, oh yeah, the Marvel movie was out. It makes sense why it made this much. You know what I mean? I still I still feel like Sam's arc, trying to prove himself, he can be Captain America in his own way. Yeah, that's still going to be an ongoing arc. Like that's not something you can resolve in just a movie. Like that's something that they have to continue to build up his trust in himself, but also his trust in knowing that he is Captain America. He can be his own Captain America and do it in his own way and be proud of it. So that's the ongoing arc that we're gonna continue to see with him. Um, Even when assembling the Avengers, we're still going to see that. There's probably going to be people on the Avengers team who are going to question him. And this is going to make him push even harder under pressure to be that Avengers leader that the team needs. But in season 2, when we get a fight with Peter and Norman, Norman and Peter might be like, you told me not to hold back. Well, here it is. And he just, yeah, yeah, that's something they could do with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, if they want to go that route of Peter not pulling back his punches, not really knowing his strength, still, because I still feel like he doesn't know his full strength. But I feel like over time, throughout this series, he will. Bucky's like 70 years old, but he's still got it. Yeah, I think they said in the Sam said in the movie he's like 110, 110, 120, if I remember correctly. Valadier, you said I like the movie. It isn't great Winter Soldier levels hype, but it's an okay movie. I hope it keeps doing well because of Anthony. Yeah, like I said, I I want to support Anthony Mackie. Um, I don't know him personally. There's all these people who are talking like they met him. I'm like, I don't know him personally. I've never sat down and had a conversation with him. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know how he feels. So I can't go based off of what other people say or why they don't like him or things like that because I've never met him. That's like high school stuff, you know? I'm a mature individual to where I can make my own opinions and judgments and be willing to meet people based off of my own experience, not because of what someone else told me. Now, if I look and observe and I see that person is a bad person, then I'm gonna say it. I don't, want to be around that person. But if they've never really given me a reason to think that or feel that or anything like that, I'm gonna all the least you can do is just try to understand them and get to know them. And if he didn't really care about this movie, why is he showing up at surprise theaters, handing out roses? There are literal videos that you can see of him handing out roses to people in the audience for Valentine's Day, going to theaters and paying up front for the movie. If this guy didn't care about his role as Captain America, if this guy didn't care about Marvel, why would he do what he does? You know what I mean? So to me, when I hear people say things about, oh, Anthony Mackie, he's too much of a jokester, or he's a cornball, or all this stuff, right? When I hear that, I'm like, have you sat down and actually had a conversation with him? Besides off the interviews that you hear him and he makes jokes, and I don't know about you, but I hate being around serious people all the time. If you are a serious person, I don't want to be around you. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't get why people feel like people should be serious all the time. Yes, there's a time and a place for everything. And there's a time and a place to be serious, and there's a time and a place to be fun and youthful and joke and stuff. And it's okay. It's okay to laugh. I don't get why people have so much of a problem with laughing and stuff. And I just feel like that's a big issue to people now, like most things. So for me, I like being around people that joke and can take certain situations, even if they're a bad situation, they can still find a way to make a joke out of it to kind of make you see, like, okay, that was funny. That was cold, but that was funny, right? And that doesn't make you an insensitive person. It's just it calls for certain situations and the right time. And so again, I'm not judging anyone based off of what someone else has said because I don't know that person. I've not met them. A lot of people say things about me, I'm sure, to other people, but those same people have never met me before. They don't know who I am. They don't know my personality. They don't know how I operate. So, isn't Sentry an experiment so that they could evolve human biology? I think so. Like I said, I wish Marvel Fan was here because Marvel Fan, he knows a lot more about these characters and stuff than I do. I just, like I said, I go based off of like what I've read online or what I've heard. So again, if you have anybody has any Century comics, I'd love to read some Century comics. I'd love to, get myself prepped for the Thunderbolts. Again, not expecting a one-to-one comic adaptation of Sentry, but I do want to have at least an understanding of the character as far as his power set and abilities and just some things that he's experienced. But if somebody breaks Red Wing again, Sam is gonna crash out. Ah, man, rest in peace to Red Wing. I'm sure Red Wing will be back, but I was like, oh dang, not Red Wing. Oh, I like Anthony Mackie. He's an underrated actor. Like, yeah, like She Hates Me, Spike Lee joint. If you haven't seen that movie, I suggest checking it out. It's definitely an interesting movie. She Hates Me. Obviously, 8 Mile, Papa Doc. Like, come on, like that role, iconic. Twisted Metal, which Twisted Metal just got a season 2 trailer. I actually still haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it. But I'm definitely excited for Twisted Metal, and I really enjoy season 1. I thought Anthony Mackie just did a really good job in that show. So, again, Anthony Mackie has had some stuff where it's like, man, he's done some characters. Now, I will admit, he has had some characters that is kind of a question mark. He played Tupac, and I was like, huh? And those moments like that, those are some big question mark roles. Like, okay, but again, some of the other roles he's done his job as an actor. So again, people always try to clown him for the roles that he's done, but every actor has had roles that either weren't a fit for them or just wasn't something they probably should have done. Denzel, he's a very popular actor. Denzel, I'm sure, has had some roles that I'm sure people have been like, did he really need to do that? Should he have done that? So again, that's a part of the actor's journey. Especially when you're young and starting out, you're trying to figure out your way in life. And you're not always going to be like a Tom Cruise or a Sylvester Stallone and know. And even those actors, they had to start out small. But when you start out small and you work your way up to those Rocky roles, the Ethan Hunts of the world, right? When you work your way up, you have an appreciation for what you've done in your early years. Even if it may come off cringe. It may come off cringe. It may come off embarrassing. But that's a part of your growth. That's a part of your journey. And I think for Anthony Mackie, going to his role, because I know he was in a movie when he was a teenager, I think, and kind of going up to now being a Captain America. Imagine talking to a younger Anthony Mackie and telling him, you know, you're gonna be a star in a movie, you know, you're gonna be Captain America. Like, imagine a young Anthony Mackie telling a young Anthony Mackie that. Imagine being like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. What are you talking about? Not realizing that's what happened. So again, you never know where life is gonna take you. I don't mind the new suit Sam wears in the movie, but I still think he kept the suit from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, he definitely kept it. Like we saw it in the movie. Like he has that one, and then he has his stealth suit. But now that his stealth suit is broken, I think we're gonna see him use his original suit that we saw in the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, which that is his suit in the comics as well. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that suit come back. At the same time, I like the new suit. What's up? He said, I enjoyed the movie, just got out from watching. I like Mackie's personality. He seems real and down to earth to me. Yeah. Like, that's another thing I liked about him. He just has like, I don't know, like for me, Anthony Mackie to me in that role, he felt like a big cuz, you know, felt like a cousin that you grew up with, like you knew him, right? Like he might buy you a soda or something, you know what I mean? If you know what I'm talking about, he kind of had that vibe. So I don't know, like I like I said, I like Sam Wilson. I like Anthony Mackie's portrayal of Sam Wilson. And no, he shouldn't stay as Falcon. What's wrong with y'all? Why do y'all want, like, why do people want that? Like, why are people so hyper fixated on him just staying Falcon? Like, no. No. Like, that's, again, I used this analogy before, but this is like telling a guy who's a janitor who he's been in the company for 17 years. He knows how to work the company just as much as the CEO does. Even though he's a janitor, the CEO has talked to him. He showed him the ropes throughout the years. And he trusts the janitor. Only for the janitor, when the old CEO retires, he becomes the new CEO. But then you have people who are like, nah, you shouldn't be the new CEO. You should go back to being the janitor. And being happy being the janitor. Although, that guy who worked there as a janitor for 17 years, who the CEO trusted, more than he trusted anyone else in the higher ups, might I add. Analogy of Steve when he trusted Sam, giving him the shield, right? He trusted him. Then you have people saying he should go back to being a janitor. What kind of person are you to tell someone that? How would that make you feel if you were someone who was offered a higher position in your job, and you knew you could take on the role? You may have some doubts. Just like Sam, He may have some doubts, but being able to take on that role and being brave enough to take it on, only to have people lower than you, which a lot of times is jealousy. A lot of times is people mad because they felt like they worked hard enough when in actuality they didn't work hard enough. They didn't have the special sauce to do what they do, to say things about someone else, about what they were able to do. Yeah, he may be a janitor, but he might be the best CEO out of the current CEO. You never know. He may do things differently. He may give you more pay raise. He may give you more days off. Why? Because he's been a janitor for 17 years. And I would imagine, knowing that experience, he knows how hard it is for people to work. Being someone who was down under, down at the bottom, he would at most know what it's like to go through all the things that people in higher positions than him go through. So to me, when I hear people say that, why would you say that? Like, what is your argument there? Again, just an analogy to what I've seen people say about Sam Wilson taking on Captain America, you know? Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And I love the helmet too. Mackie's a very good actor. I like him as Captain America. Yeah, I like him too. Sentry is also a super soldier serum experiment. Okay, see that now that's gonna tie in even more with the Thunderbolts, because now Bucky in a way also has someone else who has the super soldier serum. So if there's anyone else who knows how to take down a super soldier, it's Bucky. But this time, he won't be able to, because Sentry, I'm sure Sentry is a very powerful individual from what I've heard. He's very powerful. So that just adds more emotional weight to also Bucky's story, because he knows, being a super soldier, just how terrifying and also how vulnerable it can be. Like, I wonder if Sentry is mind controlled in that trailer. We may not, we just don't know. Someone might be mind controlling him the same way that Bucky was mind controlled. You know, I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to do that, and I don't think they are, but just kind of it adds more relatability. Ah, man, yes, She Hates Me. I need to rewatch that. It was hilarious and also well done when I seen it as a kid. Yeah, like I said, Spike Lee joint, you know? Like I said, I grew up with Spike Lee movies. So for me, I felt so much entertainment and also influence in Spike Lee and what he's been able to do with films, especially showing people of color. So shout out to Spike Lee. The Sentry has a superhuman strength, speed, and intelligence, as well as invulnerability, enhanced senses, energy projection abilities, and the power of flight. Yeah, it sounds like Sentry. He cold. He's a cold individual. So I hope they do right by him. I have a feeling they're going to. I just have a good feeling about the Thunderbolts. I think it's gonna surprise us. I think there's gonna be some things in here that we didn't expect. Um, so yeah, the one time I remember I saw the Ant-Man movie and somebody was throwing M&Ms at me and my friends. So we got up and started fighting and got kicked out. Oh man, I'm sorry about that experience. You know, I had an experience similar to that going to the movies by myself once. There was someone who was throwing popcorn at me in the theater. And it's like so annoying because there's some people who would just go in the theaters just to do stuff like that, just to only get kicked out just because they wanted to, right? So there's like this couple like right behind me. It's like, okay, you're a couple, lovey dovey, yah, yah, yah. I get it. But then they started throwing popcorn at people in the theater. And some of that popcorn was in my direction. So I got up and I looked at them and I said, can you please stop throwing popcorn? I'm trying to watch the movie. You spent money. I spent money. Just leave me alone. And they left me alone. They didn't do it again. And I gave them like a real stern look. I didn't have to say nothing. All I had to do was just look and say my piece. Because if I had to get up from there again, we would have been fighting in there. We would have, chairs would have been thrown. It would have been on. That was younger me, by the way. I'm definitely not like that now. I've grown, matured, reserved myself over the years. But younger me, I had a bit of some anger issues. I'll admit that. I'll admit that to you guys. I had some anger issues when I was younger. Um, so yeah, I think he will have a version of an adamantium suit eventually. Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, the vibranium did, vibranium did as much as it could, but with this adamantium, and now countries fighting over adamantium. There's a literal war that almost started, and I still think there's going to be a war fighting over adamantium. That's not just a one movie thing that you resolve. Like, this is going to be an ongoing thing, even well into X-Men. I think there's going to be a big major war going on with adamantium. I really do. Since Sam beats Red Hulk, people saying he should take the serum will not talk to people for a bit. As much as I understand people's point about him taking the serum, he didn't need it. And he proved in this movie why he didn't need it. Because again, technicality, sociality, the psychology, the counseling side of Sam Wilson, like he was able to negate the situation using all the tactics that weren't always fighting, but also, again, the social and sociologically and mental aspect of it, he was able to use to his advantage because, again, counselor. Sentry is basically Marvel's version of Superman. Sentry is basically, interesting. I have heard that too. About Sentry. He's like the Superman. I've heard about Hyperion too. Is Hyperion like another version of like Marvel's Superman, or is he a little bit more powerful than Sentry? Because I know there was like a big fan casting at one time that people said like they should get Henry Cavill to play Hyperion. I knew that was like a big casting thing at one point. Let's see. Let's see if there's anybody. No. No, there isn't anything. But Nan, since you're here, I want to know your thoughts about the post-credit scene. What do you think that's in reference to? What do you think the leader was talking about? Like, it's probably obvious, but I kind of just want to hear your thoughts. Do you think he was talking about Doom, or do you think he was talking about someone else? And that question goes for everybody. Like, do you guys think the leader was talking about Doom? Do you think he was talking about Kang? Do you think he was talking about maybe another villain we haven't even seen yet? Or maybe a villain we have seen, but maybe haven't seen him in some time. I definitely love to hear what you guys think about it. Even people in the replay. I think John Walker is going to try Bucky, and he's like, do you really want to do this with me? And they fight. Yeah. Yeah, John's not winning that fight against Bucky, that's for sure. I think he was referencing to whomever the big bad is going to be for Secret Wars. Yeah, yeah. Because it could be Doom, but it also could be someone else, too. Maybe someone we weren't even thinking. Maybe Doctor Doom gets killed in Doomsday. Though I don't think they'll do that. Unless they maybe kill Doom halfway through Secret Wars. They could do that, but I don't know if they are going to do that. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to find out who really is playing with all the strings, you know? I still think Nico will get kidnapped in the final 2 episodes of season 1 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. You bring up something interesting, Carter, because I don't know if you've seen the online discourse lately with Nico, but now they're putting Nico in the Amber effect. If you guys know what Invincible and how Amber is, right? Now people are putting Nico in that same bubble, which I'm like, you do realize that one, Nico is mad because Nico has been Peter's friend way before he met Harry Osborn, and Peter didn't bother to tell Nico that he was Spider-Man. You know, that would hurt anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, a male, a female, it doesn't matter who you are. That would bother you, knowing that your best friend would rather tell someone that he just met your secret, but you didn't bother to tell them, and they've been your friend for months, you know? So I don't really get that whole thing that people are going off of, saying that she's another Amber from Invincible. It's like one, 2 episodes where she was upset. She's definitely gonna not be upset forever. Like, she's definitely going to kind of see what Peter is gonna go through, and she's gonna probably have a bit more of an understanding and even more compassion for Peter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, the internet is gonna internet at the end of the day. They're always gonna try to compare a certain character to another character in the show and stuff like that. So I sometimes it just feels like people on the internet just don't have any feelings at all. Like, they're so detached from humanity to the point where they don't understand, like, yes, it's justifiable to be upset with your friend about a secret that you told some random person that you just met, over someone else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people don't really think about it that way. He obviously knows of the multiverse. Okay, Carter, you said, I still think the leader is talking about Doctor Doom. Yeah, I think so too. He obviously knows of the multiverse, but how much is the question? That's the thing. And that's why I feel like this isn't going to be the last time we see the leader. We're going to see him in even more stuff because they left that door open. They really did leave that door open. And I don't think you putting the leader in the raft, I don't think that's going to be the last time we see him. We might see him in the Thunderbolts. Because who knows, maybe he may know what's going on with Sentry. You know? So I don't think that's going to be the last time we see him. I really don't. And you know what's crazy? People tell me men don't cry, and these same men cry like it's a part of being a human being. Like, nobody can't be no big tough guy and beat people up. Let me say this. If you guys watch wrestling, LA Knight did a promo like a week or two ago. And ever since then, that promo kind of stuck with me. And I always felt that way. But just kind of hearing someone else say that, especially, in certain situations, because, everybody's going through something right now. And so he said, I want to tell you this. As men crying, uh-oh, reconnecting. Okay, so we're back. All right, so he said there's nothing wrong with crying. If you need to cry, let it out. It's good for your mental health. And it's true. I cry. When I go through stuff, I cry. Other people, they cry too. Like, you watch a movie and something sad happens. You cry. Your girlfriend breaks up with you. You cry. You lose somebody in your family. You cry. When you're trying to work and do everything you can and the stress of everything is overwhelming you, you cry. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we need to get out of this stigmatization that, especially as men, where we feel like crying is for the weak. Crying is not for the weak. You gotta let that out. You gotta let all that pain, all that anger, all that frustration, all that stress, you gotta let it out. Because if not, it's gonna continue to fester like the Red Hulk. You're gonna get angrier and angrier and angrier, and you're gonna start to crash out. You're gonna start to do things that you shouldn't do, and it's just not good for you. It's not good for you. It's not gonna make you feel good. But when you sit down, you have a good cry, you get emotional, you let all that stress out, you feel better. I don't know about y'all, but when I get done having a little crying thing because things are going through so much, I start to feel a little better. You know? It's again, you're letting out all that stress, you're letting out all that tension. So I want to say this to any man, woman, child, there is nothing wrong with you crying. If it's going to make you feel better, if it's going to help you get over what you're going through, you do it. You do what's best for you. And don't listen to nobody else trying to tell you all this BS about crying is for the weak and all this other stuff. Because those same people, when they lose someone that's close to them, they lay it all out. So don't let anyone tell you that, oh, I don't cry, I don't do all this, I don't get emotional. They're lying to you. They are lying straight up to your face. So cry if you need to. If it's going to help you feel better, cry. Do it. Do it for your mental health. Do it for you. And that's my advice. Enough with the tough guy stuff. It's 2025. Enough with that. Yeah, you can learn from it and become a stronger person. You can build your bricks of the building, you build it back up and you make it stronger. But that doesn't always mean that it won't break. Everybody breaks. But when you let it all out, you let it all out on the line, and you say, you know what? I might have been going through this today. I might have been going through that today. But when you let it all out on the line and you let it go, you get stronger each time. I'm sorry. I made a phone call. But yeah. That's my thoughts on it. Let's see. What am I on? 52%. So we're good. You said I think the movie, what's up, Chuck? You said I think the movie was dope. It just needed something extra, but I like it. I agree. I do think there need to be some extra things in there. Like I said, some more dialogue, some more scenes, a little bit more backstory with certain characters. Like I said, an extra 15 to 20 minutes I think would have been good for the film. I think so. So I agree with you there. He might set the Hulk off to Savage Hulk. Yeah, that, and what they could do, they can have President Ross. Well, he's not President Ross anymore. But what they could have him do, they can have him maybe lurking in the background, right? So he can still do things behind the scenes, but still kind of act like he's off the grid. And I could see him maybe in some way having some ties to Val with the Thunderbolts. I could see him doing that. And then, like you said, working his magic with the Hulk, right? And I did hear, this is a rumor like a while back. There was like a rumor about a Wolverine versus Hulk movie, right? There was like some discussion about that. Who knows? Maybe Ross could be the one to kind of instigate that situation where we could get a Wolverine versus Hulk, you know, in the Mutant Saga or Supernatural Saga or whatever they plan to call it, right? So they could have Thunderbolt Ross being this instigator while also working behind the scenes trying to recapture the power he once had as president. They could do something like that because I don't think his arc is over. He's still going to be doing, in my opinion, some villainous stuff behind the scenes. We just probably won't see it or hear of it through him, but through other people. I think the leader will start World War Hulk. Boom, you got the World War Hulk movie. Yeah, there you go. Like again, they can build with that. And I hope that Marvel can get back to having the Hulk the way the Hulk should be. I missed the big green mean machine. I missed that. Like Professor Hulk, like I understand, yes, he's a professor, but this is Bruce Banner we're talking about. I don't think you need to always collide both him being a professor and being Hulk. I think you can have them being two individual entities and they still work. So I really hope that they look at that and say, like, you know what, we need to break Bruce Banner from the Hulk. We need to differentiate the two and not try to combine them, you know? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Kid Z13. I'm not sure what you're saying. Could you, if you can translate that into English, that would be nice. Because I want to understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure what you're saying. But yeah, if you guys have any more thoughts or theories or questions, let me know now because I'm probably gonna end the stream in a few minutes because I gotta get ready for Raw on Netflix. It's gonna be, you guys know I'm a big wrestling fan, so I gotta get ready for Raw on Netflix and stuff. So I won't try to be on for too much longer. There were rumors coming out that Denzel was going to play the Black Magneto in Black Panther 3. I did hear rumors about Magneto, Denzel either playing Magneto or playing another character, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that. Now, I have my fan cast of who should play Magneto. If you guys watch Cobra Kai, Terry Silver, the actor for Terry Silver, I think he would be great for Magneto. He not only does he have the presence of Magneto, but he has the look for Magneto, and he also has the skill. He's a trained martial artist. He knows combat. So if they wanted to have someone casted as Magneto, I think Thomas Ian Griffith, that's his name. I think he would be a better fit for Magneto than Denzel. Not saying that Denzel wouldn't do a good job. I just think, personal wise, I think Thomas Ian Griffith would be a better Magneto, just based off of all the things that I mentioned. And three, what does Magneto have? Anything to do with Wakanda? That's the thing. Like I wouldn't know what he would have. I mean, I don't know if he has visited Wakanda before. Like I said, if anyone knows in the comments of if Magneto has traveled to Wakanda, let me know. Like the only reason I feel like it would be is for Storm. Now, unless they're gonna introduce Storm in Black Panther 3, that's the only way I see a connection. But what would he try to do? Would he try to recruit Storm? Uh, make a wager with Storm? Because to me, I feel like they're gonna make the X-Men already established characters, so they're not gonna try to go out of their way to do the origin stuff. Like I'm sure we'll probably get some origins of some characters. I'm pretty sure we'll get some solo movies like a Gambit solo movie. I would love that. I love Gambit. He's one of my favorite X-Men characters. I don't think they need to do a Wolverine solo thing. I feel like Wolverine has had so much of his own story told that I don't feel like they need to make Wolverine the focus. I think you need to focus on Cyclops, you need to focus on Jean, you need to focus on Storm, you need to focus on Beast, Professor Xavier. To me, those are the characters that I feel like they need to focus on in the new X-Men. Yeah, you can give Wolverine his own. If you want to do it, maybe he goes to Madripoor. If you want to have him go to Madripoor, that's fine, because his own comic series, he's gone to Madripoor many times, and we've seen Madripoor in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if they want to do that, they can. But again, they don't need to make Wolverine the focus. We've had 25 years of that. They need to focus on the characters that people either know or don't really know too much about. And that's what I liked about X-Men 97 is they showcased the characters as they should. Everybody thinks Cyclops is this Boy Scoutish jerk. He's not. He's a leader. A true leader of the X-Men. And yes, he has his doubts as a leader. And yes, he's made his mistakes as a leader. He's no perfect leader. No leader is. But the thing about Cyclops, what makes him dope, is that even through his adversity, he still finds a way to be the hero that the X-Men need. And that's what you need to tell. That is the story you need to tell with the X-Men. Same with Jean. Yes, Jean has the telepath ability. But to me, Jean is the heart of the X-Men. She is the heart of the team. Without her, you don't have that thing with Cyclops. You don't have that thing with many other characters. You know what I mean? So you have her, Storm. Storm is she's the character that has the authority in the group, but she's also someone who is willing enough to take charge when the necessary cause is for it. She's an Omega level threat mutant for a reason. And so I want to see that. Then you have your rogues, you have your Gambits and your Wolverines and your Jubilee that add that fun aspect, but also their stories are woven kind of like a soap opera in a way. And when you think about it, the X-Men is kind of like a soap opera. Certain comics that you read feels very soap opera-y. But what makes it work is that these characters are so grounded into the things that happen with people, being mutants, and that kind of analogy of prejudice and racism and sexism and all these things that go on in our day-to-day life. They made these characters feel grounded enough to where you can understand what it's like to be an outcast, what it's like to be different. I've told this story many times. I was no popular kid in high school. I was the outcast in high school. I did things my own way. I dressed differently. I talked differently. I acted differently than other people when I was in school. And for a lot of the time, I felt like an outcast because I was treated differently. I was all these things. So for me, the X-Men were always characters that I related to because they knew the plight. They knew the plight of things that were going on. Not just from a racial standpoint, but also from a socialism standpoint, a classism standpoint, financially. You know what I mean? So that's why those characters to me hit hard, and that's what I would love to see with the MCU X-Men. Lean into those. Do not be afraid. Don't shy away from those themes. Really show people what stuff people go through and be proud enough to show those things within telling great stories. I'm glad Harrison Ford is getting new roles as he's getting older. I am too. He seems like he's just having a great time in Marvel. Just being Red Hulk, seeing the interviews. He was like, I wanted to get into Marvel. I wanted to get a little taste of Marvel, and he seemed like he enjoyed playing Red Hulk. I think he seems he seemed to enjoy a lot more than some of his other roles, and you can kind of tell that by hearing his interviews. So if this means that he comes back to maybe do some more appearances, I'm all for it. If he's happy, hey, why not, right? You get a legend like Harrison Ford, go with it. Well, just like they had Beast in the Marvels, I think certain X-Men will just be there already, and some stories will get full origins, and some will get full origin stories. And that's fine. Like I said, we got Beast already. We know Professor Xavier is there because he mentioned them in the post-credit scene. So that's two characters there already. Then we got Binary, who's played by Monica Rambeau's mom, Maria Rambeau. So again, you can do the Captain Marvel and Rogue thing. You can do that story if you want. Um, so there's so much that they could really pull from and do their own twist on it. So, like I said, I expect there to be origins on certain characters. Like I said, like a Gambit or a Jubilee or an Angel. Yeah, well, Archangel. I don't know if they call him Angel. I think they call him Angel. Um, Again, it all depends on the team too. Are they going to do a different team? Are they going to do a team similar to X-Men, like X-Men 97? I've heard that they want to do a team similar to X-Men 97, which, like I said, I'm cool with because those are the characters that people are most familiar with. But also at the same time, I wouldn't mind kind of switching it up. Maybe we get Iceman, we get Archangel, we get some of the OG X-Men characters from the beginning in there somehow. Maybe the X-Men teams switch over time. I would be okay with that. Maybe certain X-Men, they could tell stories of them going on their own adventures. So now new members take over the X-Men team for some time until they come back. They did it in the comics, so I don't mind it. So again, there's so much that they could work with the X-Men, and I hope that they have a plan. That's all I hope for. I hope they have a plan. I hope they know how much these characters mean to a lot of people because we've been wanting these characters for such a long time. And to have that possibility of introducing them into this new world, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have all the opportunity to do the things that they want to start fresh. This is their opportunity to start fresh with the X-Men. Mistakes that they made with the first Avengers films. They can now take that to their advantage and know what to improve on with the X-Men. Nico and Peter kissing in the final two episodes of Year for Universe Spider-Man and have an Easter egg from the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Who knows? We might see them. We might see them kiss. I mean, like I said, I'm rooting for Peter and Nico. Like that is my go-to couple right there. I like their dynamic. I like their vibe. So I hope it does happen. I don't mind it being different. So people are like, oh, what about Mary Jane? What about Gwen Stacy? I mean, they could come in a future season, but if Peter and Nico are an in-game couple, I don't mind it because this is a different universe. They can do stuff like that. This is the Spider-Verse we're talking about. I'm sure there's universes where Peter probably isn't dating Mary Jane nor Gwen. I'm pretty sure he might be dating someone else. We probably haven't had those stories told through the comics or anything, but I would imagine there's a universe out there that probably has a scenario like that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get off. I won't be on too long because yeah, it's already like 2 hours, and like I said, Monday. I'm trying to get ready for Monday Night Raw. So I'm gonna get ready for that. So if you are watching this, I want to say thank you for coming by to the stream to talk Captain America: Brave New World. A lot of great conversations. It sounds like for the most part you guys enjoyed the film. You guys definitely have some things that you wish could have been different or expanded upon. I definitely feel the same way. And just being very respectful and stuff. You guys are always mature and respectful, and I want to continue that same vibe and community, regardless of how far we grow. And it's just great conversations. I also want to give a big shout out to Lacole's Place for the $5 chat. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to again everybody just coming in the streams as always and being supportive. If you guys have not, and if you're new, I am Josh, aka JaceTheDon, and I've been doing YouTube for 3 years at this point, and it's just been an amazing journey, and the journey isn't going anywhere. We got plenty more. I got another stream that's coming this week for the finale of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And when Daredevil Born Again comes out, best believe I will be doing live discussions for each episode that comes out weekly. So definitely stay tuned for that. And plenty more reviews and things of the matter. I may have another stream this week. Just be on the lookout. I may have another stream. That's all I'll say. So, again, I'll let you guys know about that depending upon how the weather is here. I'm going to get into your last comments, see what you guys are saying. Thank you. What's up, Kaden and Miss Cole? Yeah, thank you so much again. Katie, you said thank you for sharing your thoughts and discussions tonight. Again, man, it's always great to tune in to your show. Legendary work. Yeah, man. Like I said, you guys make the show. I'm just a guy who just is just sitting down in his chair discussing it on his phone. I'm still working through OBS, trying to get that all set up so I can have a more classy and professional looking layout. So I'm still working on that. Just give me some time. It's a work in progress, but we're gonna get that settled so I can show videos and photos and live reactions and live streams. Maybe doing live reactions to trailers and stuff that comes out. I would love to do that. So plenty more content on the way. Just stay tuned. Subscribe to the Jace the Don channel, and check out my recent videos. And yeah, let's see what you got. What else you guys are saying? MCU Spider-Man, Tony Stark. I don't feel so good. You're feeling never Spider-Man. Norman Osborn. I don't feel so good. I mean, yeah, they could do that. That would be interesting if they did do that, but I would like a scenario where maybe Peter Parker is one of the people that doesn't get blipped in Endgame. I would love to see a Peter Parker surviving post blip. If they do that in the show, I think that would be really dope. Because people have always wondered and wanted projects about what happened during the blip. So I think that would be the perfect opportunity for them to explore that in that show if they want to. So again, it'd be dope. We'll have to see what they do. Only time will tell. I was so mad when Harry told Nico Peter in Spider-Man. I'm like, she wasn't supposed to find out until season 2. Yeah, I was like, Harry, why did you say something? Ah, thanks for the stream as well. Enjoyed it. Hey man, I'm glad you showed up. Thank you for stopping by. Like I said, plenty more streams on the way and content and good content for you guys. So like I said, thank you guys for entertaining me and just like I said, being great. You guys are great. What kind of enhancements do you think Big Don is going to get back? Rhino would be doing too much. I don't know. I don't really know. That's something we'll have to find out. But I feel like it might be some weapons, kind of like similar to how in the Miles Morales game, how the Tinkerer team, the Underground, had like these big gauntlet things on their hands and stuff like that. I could see maybe something similar to that. Just we'll have to find out. But yeah, that's all the time we have for today. Again, thank you guys so much. As I always say, if you guys are inspired to do something, just do it. Go for it. Do it better than anything you could ever imagine. And thank you guys so much again for all that you do. It never goes unnoticed. And I'm just so very blessed and fortunate to have a community that we all can just sit down and just have conversations like this without the craziness of the internet and things like that. It's a very safe haven space. So again, it's all a testament to you guys. Thank you so much. Big love to you all, and peace out.